Okay, I'm going to go over the steps of how to make a clay box. I know some of you know how to do this, but just in case, here's a video that will go over each step of this process. The first thing you want to do is roll out a slab. So just like we did before, you'll start with the sphere of clay, and you may want about 4 discs of clay or about 2 pounds, 2.5 pounds of clay. Go ahead and make that clay into a ball. Tap it on your table, tap both sides so it starts to flatten it out. Then little by little you'll roll out that slab of clay, and then each time you roll it out you'll want to flip it and turn it. If your clay is a little bit wet and starts to make the table a little bit wet, when you flip it or turn it, you'll want to turn it to a clean area of your canvas table so that it doesn't stick to the table. Also, make sure your rolling pin doesn't have any leftover dried pieces of clay on it, otherwise it will create deformities in your clay. Once you've rolled out your slab, you'll want to compress it. That's step 2. Compress your slab. Now you'll compress in 2 different directions. You see here I'm going vertical in direction there. Then afterwards I'm going to compress the slab in the opposite direction. What that does is it seals off the outer edge of the clay and strengthens the wall. So you'll compress this side, then you'll flip the clay over and compress the other side. Third step is to trace out and cut your slab. So you get the templates that we have up in the front of the room. You'll place that template on your slab, and then using your finger, if you press on top of the corner edge of that cardstock template and on the clay, gliding it across, it will create a slight indent and you'll be able to see where to cut. After you see where to cut, go ahead and cut it out. You will have a total of 5 slabs that you need. Once you have those 5 slabs, you'll be ready to set them on a board. And all of the excess clay, you don't want to waste it. So what you'll do with the excess clay is you'll smush them all together and then wedge them just like we've gone over before. And once it's all mixed together and free of air bubbles, you'll place it back on the clay table and spray it. Then somebody else in another class can use that same bit of clay. Alright, so now back to the idea of the slabs and what to do with those slabs. Before you place them on a board, you'll add a manila sheet of paper on the board. Once you have that manila sheet of paper on the board, then you can go ahead and place your slabs on that board. Keep in mind, placing your slabs on a board will dry out your clay. So if you're worried about your clay being dry, maybe it's already semi-leather hard, don't place them on a board. Instead, place a paper towel in between each slab and put them in a plastic bag to store. If you want your clay to dry out a little bit more, put them on this board with the paper in between the clay and the board, and then put it inside a bag. Next, you are going to place out your slabs so that you have 3 of the slabs horizontal, meaning going from left to right, and 2 slabs vertical. When you attach these, they'll all end up attaching together just fine. First, you'll take that top middle slab and the middle slab and connect them. To connect them, be sure to score, add a little bit of slip, press them together, and before you compress them, you'll want to add a coil right in between each corner. So you'll place a coil in between that corner. If you need to know how to make a coil, ask a neighbor. We have gone over that before, but hopefully you're able to make a coil. And then once you have that coil in the corner, you're going to press it into the clay itself, supporting the outer edge. When you compress it, it should be completely smooth on the inside. Once you have that coil compressed, you're ready to attach the next slab. So you would score all of the surface area that would be attaching to the 2 pieces that are already attached. So on the outer edge of there, then you'll add a little bit of slip. Once you add that slip, you'll go ahead and attach that piece of clay. once you've attached that piece of clay, you'll add coils. Now you're going to add coils to multiple corners at one time. In this case, it's the bottom corner and the side corner. But now those 3 slabs are well attached. Next, you'll score these areas, add another slab, press and compress. In the end, they should all fit together just like this. You know they fit together, but you still have to attach them and add coils. And that's the basics of how to make the box. Thank you.